Good afternoon and welcome to Rory Talks Football, the day after a 2-2 draw with Liverpool. First of all, if you are new to the channel, please do drop a subscription. We hit 1,000 subscribers yesterday. Massive thank you to anyone who has subscribed. A crazy first 10 days on YouTube, and we're going to kick on with it. Also, smash a like on the video. That does me a massive favour. But look, we're going to get into everything from yesterday. A mixed bag, a mixed emotions. I don't know how to feel about it even today. Let me just get rid of that for now. But look, I mean, there's so much to talk about. There are so many talking points. We're also, after we've done that, going to get into Folarin Balogun, an update from David Ornstein on Folarin Balogun. He scored again yesterday, 22 goals in 28 games for Reims this season. But it's not all good news, according to David Ornstein. Welcome on YouTube to the chat. Good to see you. Massively appreciate the support. Arteta was poor yesterday. He could have done things better, I do think. Shout out to everyone in the TikTok chat as well. But let's get into it. The first 35 minutes were everything that has been good about Arsenal this season. It's the reason that we're top of the table. The second 65 minutes showed that we are still the youngest team in the league, that there are still... there is still an element of naivety, of inexperience. There are still lots of lessons to be learned for a lot of these players. Afternoon, Lucas. Good to see you. But look, the first 35 minutes, by the way, a lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of criticism for like Ødegaard and Saka, and I don't think they necessarily realise those two players were instrumental in that first 35 minutes, just as much as Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus who were phenomenal. First two goals are great. Martinelli, fantastic finish. It was interesting the way that we were playing, and this is again where like Zinchenko's been getting some stick. The dog's going wild in the background. She loves it. Look at her. Oh, isn't that cute? Zinchenko. So the build up to the first goal, right? Curtis Jones gets taken completely out of position by the way we're knocking the ball around at the back, and it's that ultimately leads to Saka having space. The ball gets played into him. Robertson slips, and we're through on a counter attack. That is where, when we've got possession, we dominate the midfield with Zinchenko coming in. Obviously, in the second half, when we sat back, he's not the best defender in a low block as a left back. But in that first 35 minutes, he was instrumental. Saka as well could have had an assist. Jesus missing that chance at the back post, which it was a difficult chance. It was by no means a sitter, but they're the sort of ones that you want to be taking. So we're 2-0 up. We've been playing excellently. Anfield is quiet. And it gets to the Granit Xhaka moment. And so much has been made of this Granit Xhaka moment. Now, if you were watching on AFTV at the time, you'll have known that my thoughts on it were Xhaka shouldn't have risen to the bait. He shouldn't have done because it can spark the crowd. But the idea that the whole result after that is based on that one moment is ridiculous. And actually, if you watch the replays back, the sort of 45 seconds to a minute between that incident and the Liverpool goal, the crowd aren't really that noisy. They're not really that hyped. I'm not convinced that it was that ignited the crowd. I think it was the goal that came after that ignited the crowd. So I think he's getting so much stick that is unfair. I mean, I don't best of games anyway, but I really, apart from anything, right? Konate fouls Xhaka. That's what the thing that sparks all of it is the fact that Konate fouls Granit Xhaka. And it is a foul if you want to argue that the penalty for the foul from holding on Jota is a foul, because it's the exact same thing. The player in front initiates the contact by cutting across the player behind them, slowing down and letting them hit the back of them. Xhaka does it all the time. Some referees give fouls every time. Some referees don't. I do wish that Xhaka would acknowledge Paul Tierney was never giving a foul for that all game. He never gave them against Gabriel Jesus either. So he should have just acknowledged that was never going to be a foul. But it was annoying that then the penalty got given to Jota for a very similar tackle. Regardless, Xhaka then leaves a bit of a nudge on Trent. Really nothing. Trent reacts to it. And then once Trent's gone and tried to sort of elbow him in the back, I'm not expecting Granit Xhaka to just walk away. It's not who he is. And we benefit a lot of the time from the fact that isn't who he is. And we love that he's got that passion. I would also say the reaction from the media, the British media have hated Granit Xhaka for whatever reason since the second he stepped foot on English soil. They've always had it in for him. I do blame the media for the fact that a lot of fans turned on him. We know we know what the fans and Xhaka went through between each other. I have no doubt that a lot of the fans' opinion was being swayed by the media at the time. And I think the praise that they have had to give Granit Xhaka this season, they've done it through gritted teeth. They don't want to, but they've had no option but to give him praise. And the second they can switch on him, that is exactly what they've done. If that was Scott McTominay at the Etihad, if that was Jordan Henderson at Old Trafford, if that was Harry Kane at the Emirates, reacting like that, the British media would be passion. Oh, it's passion. We love that aggression, intensity. That's what you want in big games. But because Granit Xhaka's passport doesn't have the right badge on it, it's a completely different reaction. And it really winds me up. It really winds me up that he gets that sort of treatment. And we've seen interviews since, by the way, where he talks about the effect that it has on him and his family, and his wife's spoken about how much it affects him. And the fact that they still do it pisses me off. And actually, whilst at the time yesterday, yeah, I thought it was silly, I'm now just in outright like defense mode of Xhaka because I think it's outrageous the way that it's been picked up. So anyway, that happens. Liverpool's first goal, I think Ben White gets sucked out of position a bit. He gets sucked out by Jota. Curtis Jones makes the run, flicks it round to Jota. The cutback comes in, and look, it's a goal that came kind of from nothing. They'd had the Robertson chance before that, but really they weren't creating a lot. And then it's 2-1. And I do think if we got into halftime at 2-0, I think we go on and win the game. I think that goal really sparked the change. It changed the team talks at halftime. It got the crowd up for it. And from that point on, we were backs against the wall, and we shouldn't have been. We shouldn't have been backs against the wall. And that's where I do hold Arteta accountable a little bit. But we get in at halftime at 2-1. And we come out in the second half, and I don't know what was said at half time, but it didn't feel like we knew what we wanted to do in the second half. It didn't feel like we knew whether we wanted to go for the kill or hold on to the win. And I don't think you can go to Anfield and sit back for 45 minutes and try and defend a 1-goal lead. I just don't think that's the right option. I think we should have gone out in the second half exactly the same way we approached the first half, and we should have gone for the kill. And we didn't do that for whatever reason. Some of the players looked a bit tired. They shouldn't be. I don't know if that's like the Anfield atmosphere almost just sucks the energy out of you or an opposition player, but it was frustrating to watch. And then the penalty happens. The penalty's a weird one, right? Because generally speaking, if it happens against an Arsenal player, I'm saying it's a penalty. But in the context of the game, the way that Tierney had refereed that game, Paul Tierney had refereed that game, he wasn't giving fouls for that sort of contact. Xhaka 3 or 4 times in the first half wasn't given a free kick for it. Gabriel Jesus kept not getting given free kicks for it on the halfway line. So I don't understand how you can then give a foul in a far more you can give a far more severe punishment for the same sort of foul when it's in the box. Jota's running away from the goal, and it's the same sort of foul, and out of nowhere, you're giving Liverpool effectively what is a 90% chance of scoring a goal from it. I think it's a bad decision based on how he'd refereed the game. Regardless, Salah misses it. And at that point, again, I feel like a missed penalty, that should swing the energy and the sort of morale in our favour, and it didn't. I really expected that Arsenal would go, fuck me, that's a let off. Now let's kick it up a gear. And we just didn't. We continued to sit back. And at that point, for me, is where I'd have started ringing the changes if I was Arteta. We weren't dominating the midfield. As soon as you're not dominating the midfield, the significant purpose of Zinchenko disappears completely. And at that point, for me, I'd have brought on Kieran Tierney. We were struggling down down our left-hand side, their right-hand side. They were creating chances. I thought Gabriel was magnificent against Salah, but the amount of times that Gabriel had to defend one-on-ones against Salah was very worrying. And so for me, the changes didn't come quick enough, and it felt inevitable that we were going to concede an equaliser. It took until the 87th minute. It could have come before that. Darwin Nunez ran through, big save from Ramsdale. And after we'd conceded that goal, there was no hope in my mind of us going on and getting the winner, because we'd rung all of these changes. We had 5 at the back. We didn't have Erdegaard. We didn't have Jesus. And we were lucky in the end to hold on for a draw, is the truth of it. Ramsdale pulls off 2 unbelievable saves to keep us in it. Yes, on the break, we could have gone and grabbed the winner. And look, Martinelli, I don't even know if it was the right decision to try and play it into Saka. But even once he's made that decision, the execution was bad. But look, I don't want that to take away from what was actually a very good game for Martinelli. But in the end, it's a 2-2 draw. And it's almost like, without any of the context of the game, you'd say a draw away at Anfield is not a bad result. It's not going to be the result. If we don't go on and win the league, it's not because we drew away at Anfield, right? It's because we lost at Everton. It's because we drew away at Southampton. It's because there are other results that you can pinpoint that'll be the reason that we didn't win the league. Within the context of the game, you go, right, well, you are 2-0 up. So from 2-0 up, it's absolutely gutting to lose. So that's a disaster to draw from 2-0 up. But then the other context of the game, if instead of looking at what the score was after 35 minutes, you look at the final 5 minutes at 2-2 and the chances we conceded, you go, well, it's a bloody good job we got out with a draw. So on that hand, you've got to be happy with it. So look, it's a complete range of mixed emotions, and I don't know how I feel. The truth is, I don't know how I feel, but I know that if we don't win the league, it won't be this game that I look back on as the reason that we didn't win the league. It will be other games. And ultimately, the title is still in our hands. The title is still in our hands. We can still afford to draw against City, and we can afford to draw against Newcastle as well. If we draw those 2 and win the rest, we win the league. From here, we should still be able to do that. And so, look, I still believe that we can win the league. Rory, what do you think of the back 3 of Tierney, Gabriel, and Rob Holding? Or a back 3 of... I don't really like us playing in a back 3 anymore. I don't think a back 3 massively suits the way that we play at the moment. Vanity said if City manage to win every game now, that means they win 17 games in a row. They deserve it, and it's just City X. Exactly. If City win 17 games in a row, including beating us, and they win the title, fair play. Fair play. That's what a decade of cheating should get you. Truly, with their squad, with a decade of cheating, you should be winning the league. And so if they go on and do that, I mean, not fair play. It's not fair play. But I'm not gonna blame Arsenal players for bottling the league if that's the case. There's no point. So, people on TikTok saying it's crying. It's not crying. I do find it strange that the whole football world almost has kind of just brushed it under the carpet that City did spend a decade of cheating. We know they did. So, it would be the Brentford game. The Brentford game's another one, but I don't necessarily think that. I mean, the Brentford one was weird because I almost don't blame the players for the result in that game. I do generally think. I think Everton away. I think Southampton away. They're the 2 big ones that I look at. How did they cheat? They've got over 100 charges against them for cooking their books. The amount of financial backing they've had that they shouldn't have done with their minuscule fan base. It's cheating. It's cheating. Plain and simple. Found guilty on none. Well, it's still going, pal. So, anyway, I don't want to get sucked into that because it's kind of irrelevant. I saw you on AFTV yesterday. Yeah, I was on AFTV yesterday. It was a great experience. Honestly, AFTV get a lot of slack in certain quarters for times gone by. But right now, if you actually watch their content, you've got a great mix of people. You've got a great mix of opinions. They're really nice people. So I do think people that have given up or hate AFTV from what it used to be, I do think they should give AFTV another chance. Yeah, we hit 1,000 subscribers, Rams. We did. Massive, again, just massive gratitude to everyone who helped me get to 1,000 subscribers yesterday. 1,000 subs in 10 days is crazy. But look, moving on. That's yesterday. It's done. I did want to highlight a few things. Rob Holding, I really didn't think got exposed at all. Again, I thought the penalty was soft, and other than that, a lot was made of whether or not Saliba would, missing Saliba would cost us, and I don't think that was where we lost the game. Ramsdale was absolutely excellent. Martinelli was excellent. Saka was a bit quiet, and that was one thing I wanted to talk about actually. Some players looked tired, and I don't know why, because Liverpool played midweek, we didn't. we've got one game at a time, one game a week. We shouldn't be looking tired, and I don't know why some of the players are looking tired. Thoughts on the lino? Do you know what, that little elbow thing to Robertson? I think such a meal of it is being made, but I also thought a meal was made of the Mitrovic situation. I think there's so much on the line in football. People get heated. I don't think you need to go. Mitrovic barely touched the referee when he got in his face. Bruno barely touched the linesman. The linesman yesterday barely touched Robertson. All of these situations just get massively blown out of proportion. It's passion. It's emotion. I don't mind it. Fine. If the linesman yesterday goes up to Robertson and absolutely clocks him with an elbow, UFC style, fine. That's a problem. But that is nothing. And I'm tired of all of these situations getting blown out of proportion. Mitrovic shouldn't have been banned for 8 games. The linesman shouldn't get anything. He should be told off. It should literally be as simple as tell him off, get him to publicly apologise for doing it. He shouldn't have reacted the way he did. Move on. It's part of this whole. It ties into a way bigger thing of cancel culture and the fact that anyone that makes a tiny mistake these days just should have their complete life ripped apart for it. But it's such a nothing incident. It's such a nothing incident. Different story if it was an Arsenal player, though, isn't it? No, it wouldn't be a different story if it was an Arsenal player. If that happened to an Arsenal player and it barely touched them, it is what it is. I would expect an apology from the linesman. I wouldn't expect them to lose their entire livelihood over it. Where's the Adidas logo on the shirt? It fell off about the 3rd time I washed it. I've heard a lot of people, because I wear this shirt quite a lot, and people ask that a lot. And whenever I say it, other people say that they had this shirt and the same thing happened. So it must have been some sort of design issue. Do you think we get a point at the Etihad? So this is the thing. I think we can get a point at the Etihad. I do. And if we can't get a point at the Etihad, and we've lost to Man City twice in a season, and they go on to win the league, fair play. What do you want me to say? Like, ultimately, that'll be the tester. We know we have to go to the Etihad and get something from the game. If we do it and we win the league, then we deserve it. If we don't and we lose the league, then we deserve it. But I do think we're capable of it. I have to say we're capable of it. Of course we are. You look at that first 35 minutes yesterday. We're capable of beating anyone if we play like that for more than 35 minutes. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But we move on. Ornstein has given us an update on Folarin Balogun. So Balogun scored again last night. I think that's his 18th league and goal this season. Unbelievable. But it's not great. It's not great what we've heard about Balogun. He basically has said apparently he doesn't want to be second choice striker, let alone third choice. So we were talking about, I think all of us agreed he would never come back in and be a third choice striker behind Jesus and Nketiah. He doesn't want to be a second choice striker behind Jesus, which to me kind of says that his Arsenal career is over. I don't see him coming back in next season and being the first choice striker. I don't think his game is. Look, he's having a fantastic season. He's scoring a lot of goals, but he's nowhere near as well-rounded a player as Gabriel Jesus is, because he's 21 years old, and you wouldn't expect him to be. So if that's going to be his attitude, and he's refusing to go out on loan again, which I understand why he wouldn't be a third choice and he wouldn't go out on loan again. Absolutely, fully understand. And if that was going to be the case, and he said no, I'm leaving, I would say fair play. But if he doesn't want to be second choice at the second or first best team in the country as it stands, if he doesn't want to be second choice striker at the team that's either going to win the title or come second at the age of 21, and he doesn't want to sort of bide his time and hone his game at a club like that, and immediately he's got that impatience to want to be a first choice striker, then goodbye. Which is absolutely brutal, and I hate it, especially because he came through Hale End. But you can't just expect to be a first choice striker like that. Like, imagine Cole Palmer just started demanding that he starts over Erling Haaland. Like, it doesn't work like that. You have to bide your time, and if he's not going to do that, so be it. I just hope we get as much money for him as we possibly can. He's got 2 years left on his contract, so we should get good money for him. Apparently, Lille have made him their first choice striker. AC Milan are interested. Those are preferable for me. I don't want to see him go. I mean, God, if he goes to a Premier League club and starts tearing it up, it would be even more brutal. But I don't know what else you can say. I can't sit here and say we should keep him against his will, because I never believe you should keep a player against their will. I can't sit here and say he should be the first choice striker at Arsenal. And so he's backed us into a corner where we can't really we can't really do anything other than sell him and get as much money for him as we can. Of course, the annoying thing is that if everyone knows he wants to go and everyone knows we're going to sell him, you might not get as much money for him. But yeah, that's it. That's the case on Balogun. Also, Reece Nelson update. Apparently, Brighton are very keen on Reece Nelson. Now, if they can convince him not to sign a new contract and go to Brighton in the summer, then they'll get him for free. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Arsenal and Brighton come to some sort of gentleman's agreement whereby we don't make Reece Nelson sign a new contract, or we don't try and get Reece Nelson to sign a new contract, with the understanding that we will make sure that we get whoever it is from Brighton that we're trying to sign. We know that there are multiple Brighton players that we're interested in. It wouldn't surprise me if we go, look, you can get Reece Nelson on a free, no problems, as long as we get, one of the players in return that we want without being absolutely shafted. So, but it depends. I mean, Brighton can be a very sort of brutal club to negotiate with. So they might just go, well, no, we'll get Reece Nelson on a free and you can swivel on it with the players that you want to sign. So there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that happens. I'd be gutted to see Reece Nelson go, but I do think if he is going to go, Brighton would be a great club for him to go to. I think he could absolutely tear it up under De Zerbi. So if he does that, then I'd wish him all the best. A reminder, if you're watching on TikTok, I am live on YouTube. The whole live stream stays up on YouTube as well. The link is in my bio. If you could go and subscribe, it would mean the world to me as well. Lots of videos coming out. I've got some better pre-made videos coming up as well, including finally the Arsenal banter era combined 11, my favourite players from Arsenal's banter era. And now, Guess the Gooner. It is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I reel off an ex or current Arsenal player's career without the Arsenal part of that career, and you have to guess who it is. Obviously, I'll look at the YouTube chat first for the answers. First person to guess it, get a round of applause from everyone here. So who is this Gooner or ex-Gooner? They started at Sheffield United. They then went to Bournemouth. They went to Chesterfield on loan, Wimbledon on loan, and then Sheffield United. Sheffield United, Bournemouth, Chesterfield on loan, Wimbledon on loan, Sheffield United. And Rams is the first person to get it. That was easy, wasn't it? That was easy. It is indeed Aaron Ramsdale. Everyone on YouTube's getting it. Rams was the first to do it. It is apt that Rams got Ramsdale first. That is apt. Well done. Everyone's getting on TikTok as well. Congratulations. Well done. That was a bit too easy. The current players, I feel like the current players are a bit easy. We had Bakary Sagna was the one in the last stream, and people weren't quite as quick to get it. But well done. Well done. And now, and I've also pre-prepared this time a non-Arsenal one as well. So for the people that aren't Arsenal fans and don't care about guessing the Gooner, this is your non-Arsenal player's career. So obviously, I'm just going to give you their whole career path. So this player started at Red Star. They started at Red Star. They then moved to Spartak, then to Spartak Moscow, two different clubs, Spartak to Spartak Moscow, then Manchester United, and then Inter Milan. Who is it? Red Star, Spartak, Spartak Moscow, Manchester United, Inter Milan. No one's... Mo is the first person to get it on TikTok, and SS9 is the first person to get it on YouTube. It is indeed Nemanja Vidic. It is indeed Nemanja Vidic. And the dog's loving it. The dog's loving life. How are you doing? How are you doing? Do you want to look at the camera? No. Isn't she cute? You can't see her on TikTok. But well done. That was the reason I brought Nemanja Vidic there was because something interesting that Jamie Carragher came out today with, and I'd like to see your opinions in the chats on this. Jamie Carragher got riled on Twitter by someone basically mocking the idea that Van Dijk is the best centre-back in Premier League history. And one of the obvious people that people talk about in terms of the conversation for best centre-backs in Premier League history is Nemanja Vidic. So that was what got me on his. But do we think that it is ridiculous that Van Dijk gets compared to Vidic, John Terry, Rio Ferdinand? I'd say even players like Sol Campbell, because the rate at which he's fallen off a cliff, we never saw with them. Yes, they might have had a couple of seasons that they weren't at their best, but none of them had a season as bad as Van Dijk has been having. Like, he has fallen off a cliff. Even yesterday, so poor, so poor. Gets caught under the ball for our second goal. Why is he not marking Gabriel Jesus? There's not even anyone else for him to mark. He feeds the ball to Martinelli for the first goal. It just didn't happen to those other centre-backs. And those other centre-backs, by the way, they did it for 6, 7, 8 years. Not 2 years. Van Dijk had 18 months to 2 years at the top. Yes, he was a massive signing for Liverpool. Yes, he was fundamental in winning 1 Premier League and 1 Champions League for them. That does not compare to the careers in the Premier League that the likes of Vidic and Terry and Ferdinand had. For me, anyway. I don't know. I know Liverpool fans will probably have a different opinion on it, but I think the wider footballing community could probably all agree that it was ridiculous that Van Dijk was ever in that bracket. Vidic, Terry, Ferdinand, and Sol Campbell, top 4 centre backs. Yeah. That's probably my top 4. Please show the dog. TikTok want to see the dog. She's wait. Hang on. Sorry, YouTube. I'm showing TikTok the dog. There she is. Look. There she is. She loves it. She loves it. I fucked up the camera now. My bad. You're wonky now, TikTok. But yeah, so I wanted to bring up that Van Dijk thing just because I thought and actually that leads me into how good is Gabriel? How good is big Gabriel? He was again an absolute monster yesterday. I know we conceded 2 goals, but the amount of times, and even Gabriel himself previously would have got turned inside out by Mohamed Salah, and he just doesn't anymore. He's so good. He's dominant in the air. In one-on-one defending situations against good, tricky wingers, he's actually defending exceptionally well. He's having to cover a little bit of the lack of Saliba, sorry. I think he's fantastic. I think he's absolutely fantastic. And for me, he is, this season, the best. Sorry, that's really annoying me. He is the best centre-back in the Premier League this season, in my opinion. I really do think that. Konate was also excellent yesterday, by the way. Konate had a fantastic game yesterday. Really, really good. If Konate could do that more consistently, you're forgetting how good Konate was. I'm not, but Konate hasn't done that consistently, is my point. My point is that Gabriel has played every single game this season and has been absolutely top-notch in almost all of them. Holding was good. He does do it every game. No, Konate doesn't do it every game. I've seen Konate have some absolute clangers this season. Say hi. Say hi. It's incredible. I don't know. This is one thing. Yeah. Why are so many people like loving the fact that Zinchenko was? I don't actually think he was crying, but the pictures of Zinchenko looking upset when he got subbed off. I don't really understand why that's like such a big thing. Would you rather he just went off and didn't care? Like, I don't. If that's not your reaction to something like that happening, then I don't really know. It's bizarre. I find that whole reaction to Zinchenko bizarre. Like, he's got passion and emotion. I don't really know why that's such a bad thing. I love your analysis. Very open. Thank you. Thoughts on Martinelli missing the pass at the end? I thought it was the wrong pass anyway. I thought he should have played the pass. For me, because he had to nail the pass into Saka, right? If he plays it slightly behind Saka, Robertson gets across. If he plays it slightly in front, it goes to Alisson. So it's a very difficult pass to, like, people think that pass was a lot easier to time than it was. Trossard, playing the ball back to Trossard, was by far the best move because it forces Alisson back into his goal. As soon as that ball goes to Trossard, it forces Alisson back into his goal. And realistically, you've then got a 2-on-1 against Robertson, and you've got a better chance of scoring the goal. So I think it was actually the choice that was wrong. And also, yeah, I don't think. I mean, listen, if I run halfway down the street, by the time if I run halfway down the street and try and kick a football, that could go anywhere. So at the end of a 94-minute, really high tempo game, you know, his legs would have probably been like jelly. So I don't want that to take away from what in the first half especially was an excellent performance. But it is gutting. I mean, when you see the screenshots of that position, he does need to get his head up a bit more. Rams, you are correct. Liverpool deserve to win 100%. The thing with the idea that Liverpool deserve to win 100%, I'm not going to say they didn't deserve to win based on the final few minutes. You can't play that badly for 35 minutes and go 2-0 down and then say we deserve to win, because you didn't deserve to win purely based on that first 35 minutes where you were awful. And I also don't know why it would take, the people that say that the Xhaka Trent thing was what sparked Liverpool into life and we should never have done. If I'm a Liverpool fan, I'm asking, why should it take Trent and Xhaka going forehead to forehead to get the team to play well? Like, why did you not come out at the start of the game with that intensity and that will to win? Like, it shouldn't take that to spark it in the first place. Being 10 times better, well, that's just nonsense, isn't it? Kanate isn't clear of Saliba's opinion. I don't understand why we were so defensive in the second half. I agree. I don't think we should have been that defensive in the second half. I definitely agree with that. But look, now we look forward. And in terms of the games that we've got left, I look at it, when I did my predictions before this final run-in, before the international break, I did my prediction. I had Arsenal drawing to Liverpool, I had Arsenal drawing to Man City, I had Arsenal drawing to Newcastle, and I had Arsenal drawing to Brighton. As long as Man City drop points somewhere other than drawing against us, that would still result in Arsenal winning the league. So it's now, admittedly, I did think that Liverpool could have got a draw against Man City and they didn't. But the point is, it's still nowhere near done. And people keep talking about, City will just win every game. Even against Southampton should have gone 1-0 up. In fact, right before the opener from Man City, I think it was Sulemana played a ball across the box, and there was no one attacking it. Walcott should have been there at the back post. They also had that chance on the break. So even against Southampton, I didn't think. I know they went on and won the game quite comfortably, but actually, in the first half, it could have gone the other way. No one thought that when they were 1-0 up against Nottingham Forest that they were going to draw 1-0. So I do think there are going to be chances for teams to get points off Man City. I don't think every game is just default Man City have won it. It's very possible that they go and win every game, but I don't think it's like an absolute guarantee the way people are talking about it. That's just not the way football works. Who thought Brentford were going to go to the Etihad and win? Who thought Everton were going to get points off them? Like, they're capable of it, but it's no guarantee. And equally, Arsenal could go away at West Ham and lose next game. I don't think either team is just going to rattle off 9 wins in a row or 9 wins and a loss for Arsenal against Man City. I just don't think it's going to be that straightforward. And whoever wins it, whoever wins at the end deserves it because they'll have gone on an incredible run. Ultimately, right? If when we lost to Man City, everyone said it was done. All the exact same people, the exact same fools, and you are mainly on TikTok, I'll be honest. The YouTube chat's pretty sensible. Some of you fools on TikTok are embarrassing yourself. And the amount of you bottled the league. You were all have you not learnt your lesson? Because you all did this exact thing when we lost to Man City. And you looked like fools then, because then we won 7 in a row and then drew to Liverpool. We took 22 points from a possible 24 in the 8 games after losing to Man City, where all of you were, bottled, you've bottled it. And you looked like fools then, and you might look like fools now. So it's far too early to say either way. It's far too early to say either way. Um, who do you think's getting relegated? The relegation battle is so good. The relegation battle is so good. I think. I mean, I keep changing. I'm hard set on the fact that Southampton and Leicester are going down. The third one, I keep changing. After that result yesterday, it makes me think Leeds. But then they won the game before that. So it's so difficult. But I love it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. The dog's loving life in the background. Kian, thank you for the follow on TikTok as well. Leeds have the worst fixtures. Yeah, Leeds do have bad fixtures as well. That is true. I I think Newcastle third, Man United fourth. Newcastle third, Manchester United fourth, Spurs fifth, Brighton sixth. That is my prediction. And Aston Villa seventh. I think we beat City if we played. No, actually, I don't think Villa seventh. That was a lie. I think if we beat City if we played when we were meant to play them before the break because we would have had Jesus and Partey. Yeah, well, that's the thing with Man City. By the way, I know we've lost to them twice this season, but we haven't played them with Jesus and Partey in the team yet. So we haven't played them with a full strength team, and I think it does make a big difference. Bradley, did you hear? Apparently, Balogun wants to be our main striker next season. Yeah, we talked about that. If you go back earlier in the stream, we did talk about that. But look, as I said then, if he wants to be the first choice striker, it's not going to happen next season. And if that's what he's demanding, then he's got to be sold, unfortunately. But that's just the way it is. Bro, you was non-existent on AFTV. I wouldn't say I was non-existent. When there's 8 people on, it is what it is. Deadest ball knowledge. Oh, the TikTok chat's rattled. The TikTok chat is rattled. Easy money from him though, I guess. Yeah, I'd say we should get. It's difficult to know what we could get for Balogun because of his. I don't know. I feel like whatever we sell Balogun for, people in the fan base will say it's not enough. That's my feeling. SS says you contributed very well on FTV, so there we go. Niall, thank you. The YouTube chat is so much more delightful than the TikTok chat, and I know there's a lot of nice people on TikTok, but you get drowned out by some cretins. You look like James Milner. I don't. James Milner's got a absolutely tremendous beard that I couldn't even dream of growing. Dan, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Mudryk goes for 100 million, so Balogun goes for 300 million. Well, that's the thing. Balogun is on track to score 20 goals in League One and is younger than Mudryk. And so you look at a Mudryk signing and you go, well, Balogun's got to be more than that. But it wouldn't surprise me if Balogun went for 40. Not even that, maybe. It wouldn't even surprise me if he went for 30. But even though everything is in his favour, he's young, he's English, he's proven himself in a big league, he's got the goals. But I just don't see him. I just don't see us getting good money for him. Hedgeburn says, "Why isn't there an Adidas logo on your kit? It came off in the wash, like the third wash, and it makes it look fake. It's not fake. It's just that this specific shirt, when they went on sale, for some reason, loads of the Adidas badges fell off them. See, senor, give the ball to Bobby and he will score. Look, I'll be honest. I'll be delighted to see the back of Bobby Firmino. I actually like Firmino as well. Taking off the fact that he just has this unbelievable habit of scoring against Arsenal. I actually like him as a player. If I look at the sort of the Liverpool team that went through won the Champions League and all of that, Firmino is probably my favourite player in that Liverpool squad. It's just painful that he's just unbelievable against Arsenal. We should act like Balogun isn't an Arsenal player and make Todd Bowley think we're going to sign him so Chelsea steals him. Yeah, we should make out that we're actually going to sign him, that he's a Reims player, and we're going to sign him from them for 80 million and get Todd Bowley to stump up 100. Opinions on the League of Ireland? I think the League of Ireland just struggles. It just struggles, right? I don't know. There are reasons for it that I'm not fully aware of, but because most people in Ireland would rather watch Premier League football, whereas if you look at something like Scotland, they're far more invested in Scottish teams. Arteta made the wrong subs yesterday. I don't think he made the wrong subs. I just think he made them I think he made them a bit too late. I mean, literally, Tierney was ready to come on when they scored their goal. If he makes that substitution one stop in play earlier, we might not concede that goal. But it is what it is. You're going to get tickets for the last game of the season. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best. Thought the subs yesterday were quite poor. Too late. Yeah, took the wrong. I didn't necessarily thought he took the wrong players off, but I did think he. I did think he took too long with them. Also, is Ben White suspended for the next match? No, unless. What's your thought process behind that, Jamie? Unless because I might be missing something. Let me know why you think he would be suspended. Thoughts on the chance late? It's just brutal, isn't it? But truthfully, right? If we'd scored that goal on the break at the end, it would have been smash and grab. We wouldn't have deserved a win if we got out of there with a win. I mean, I'd have loved it, but we wouldn't have deserved it. I thought too many yellows. I don't think he'd have to be on 10 yellows by now. He'd have to be on 10 yellows by now. If he is on 10 yellows, then yes. Thoughts on the linesman with his naughty elbow? I don't mind it. I think everyone's blown it out of proportion a bit. Oh, he's got 5 yellows. No, yeah, he's absolutely fine. You have to get 5 yellows in the first 20 games. But look, I'm going to call it a day on the YouTube live stream now. Thank you very much for joining. We will be live again tomorrow. It's a pleasure to have you as always. Please do subscribe and smash the like button on the video. The bottom right-hand corner to do both of those things. It just massively, massively helps me out as I try and grow the YouTube channel. We're going to have more frequent sort of like 8 to 10 minute long videos where I talk about different topics coming up soon as well. And other than that, just have a great evening and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Goodbye.